Hey, how you guys doing? Great to see all of you here today. So let's jump into our question we have today. Okay, here it is. Hey Mark, can you tell us one thing that profoundly changed your life in a positive way? There's a lot of things that changed my life, and this question made me think a lot. So let's see. One thing that changed my life, and it came to me. There is one thought that changed my life profoundly. Once I started to adopt this thought every day, the whole game changed for me. Everything started to flow in my direction. Things started to get better. My reality started to reflect it. And I was so shocked by this thought initially. But as I continued my journey, I understood, or I overstand what was happening here. So the one thought that changed my life profoundly was every day in the back of my mind, I would always say to myself, hey, how you doing? And I would always think, the universe is always rigged in my favor. And then I would always follow it up with another question thought. Why is the universe rigged in my favor? Why is everything working in my favor? That thought profoundly changed my entire life. Now you may be saying, hey Adiotola, how you doing? From school? Yes. You may be saying or thinking, how can that change your whole life? Well, if you understand how the universe works, then you'll understand how this can change your whole life, and then you can implement it. And you see, the thing is, if you can understand the nature of reality through quantum mechanics, quantum physics shows us the hidden world is brought to light of the world we couldn't see with our naked eyes and our senses. It shows us a world which is totally mind-boggling, which is totally goes against your wisdom, your analytical. It's perplexing, it's inconsistent, it doesn't make sense. It freezes your mind and your smart, intelligent mind to just freeze up. It makes you have a different view, and it makes you question your own existence. So when I adopted this thought, are you guys are just logging in here now? So the question is, what is one thing that profoundly changed your life? And it was one thought that profoundly changed my life. And the thought was, I repeat it again because many of you are just on it. The one thought that profoundly changed my life was, in the back of my mind, I would always say, why is the universe rigged in my favor? Or the universe is rigged in my favor. Why is everything always working out in my favor? I would have that thought every day, no matter what was going on in my life. If I was going through a negative point, something happened that I didn't want to happen, in the back of my mind, I would always have that thought. And then the miracle is, or people call it magic, whatever you want to call it. I call it physics. I call it the field. I call it science. But whatever you want to call it, the thing that would happen negatively would somehow turn out positively. It was shocking. I was like, what is going on? So here's what's going on. The bottom line is this, is that our intention, our expectation, and our thoughts, they shape our reality. That's what's happening. So every day when I would imply, why is the universe rigged in my favor? I would activate my unconscious, subconscious mind to interact with the field. There's the field that exists where you and I can't see it. You and I can't feel it. It's something that you physically can't touch. It's a non-physical field. It's a field of like energy and particles. It's the field that generates everything. The field itself is made of information. It's just pure little tiny bits of energy patterns, like kind of like your pixels in your phone, or pixels that make information up. So they're just floating around little by little. Then what happens? Our consciousness takes the field and assembles it like a puzzle. So your awareness, your thoughts will take these little information and put them into binary codes, first zeros and ones, and then they become pixels, and they become pictures, and then the pictures turn on, the pictures turn into physical reality, movements, things that's the easiest way I could explain it to you. So once you do that, your whole life change. Now here's a shocking thing about this. A lot of people, a lot of individuals, they don't know this or they cannot understand this. And as I said before, when you're dealing with quantum mechanics, if anyone can ever tell you, yes, I fully understand quantum physics, you can never fully understand quantum physics. The minute you think you understand it, it throws you for a loop. It is so mind-boggling. It is so beyond your imagination. I'll give you an example. Let me give you an example. Quantum physics says that you exist right now as infinite copies of yourself, living separate lives and making separate decisions and doing infinite things. Okay? Quantum physics says the past, the present, and the future, they exist simultaneously. There's only the now. Quantum physics says every single thing that you can possibly think of is existing right now in this moment, entangled with you. Quantum physics says information can travel instantaneously, bypassing the speed limit of the universe, the speed of light. Quantum physics says something doesn't appear until you look at it. Quantum physics says when you leave your house this morning, your house disappears. Quantum physics says when you leave your bedroom and you go to the bathroom, your entire bedroom disappears. When you come back from the bathroom, your bedroom reappears. It renders in. So if this is bugging you out or creeping you out, it is supposed to do that because your mind cannot make sense of it. That's not what I said. That's what the science says. Not only the science says that, but the science has evidence. They do experiments. They write papers. They won the Nobel Prize for this stuff. They're doing this every single day. They have instruments. They can calculate. They can check. And they see this every single day happen in the laboratory. You have the micro and you have the macro world. The macro world and the micro world. The macro world is the big stuff, the physical. Micro world, of course, microscopic, right? So when I undertook and I used this thought that the universe is rigged in my favor, what do you think happened? Again, remember, this isn't designed to make sense to your mind. It's only designed to make sense to your consciousness. Remember, people, your consciousness is above your mind, if you don't know that. Your consciousness derives and creates your mind. Your mind is a byproduct of your consciousness. So your consciousness will only feed the mind what the mind needs to know in this three-dimensional matrix. Everything else will be hidden from the mind. So if you're out there and you're thinking to yourself, oh man, this may be a bunch of crap, this doesn't make sense. That's what it's supposed to do, because you can't make sense of something that you cannot conceptualize. It just doesn't make sense. So if you can't make sense of it, you have to go somewhere else where you can make partial sense of it. And the only way you can go to make partial sense of anything is in the unconscious mind, the superconscious mind, which is the higher self, and your imagination. So that's it. Quantum physics also says that you are nothing. Quantum physics says that their physical reality does not exist. Quantum physics says everything you touch, you can never touch anything. It says you are never touching anything. You're not here. So here's the big one. I'll put this here. And they won the Nobel Prize for this, by the way. Quantum physics says you and me are not even here. It says I am talking to you in my car on a phone, and you're watching this, and you're knowledge, and you're accepting it, you're analyzing it. It says none of this. I am not here. You are not here. That's what quantum physics says. physicists won the Nobel Prize for this one. I don't know if you know that, right? They said that the universe is non-local. Remember, we are in the universe. Someone says, explain. Well, basically, the easiest way to make it explain it to you is the following way that you understand this. How is it possible? Well, here's the easiest way to show this to you. What it's saying that look at a projector. Okay, let's just do this. You know they have these projectors, right? And you can buy these projectors, and you have your wall in your house, and you can turn on the projector, and it's puts the movie on your walls in your house, right? Well, that's what it says. It says that we are being projected from somewhere outside into this world. That was physics is saying basically the world is like a movie or a video game. There is a central processing unit somewhere sending information which acts like human beings and create the worlds and trees and flowers and stars and all that stuff. It's saying that it's being streamed. We're being streamed from somewhere else. So you and I are not even real as what really real is. We are just illusions being projected. It says that the real backdrop of reality, you and I will never be able to understand it or conceptualize it because we can't see it. We only can see the illusion of what the field wants us to see. So we're being streamed on this plane here right now. That's not what I'm saying. That's what physics is saying. So, since I'm being streamed, what is a streamer? Who is streaming me? So, someone says, is someone watching me? You're watching your own self. The streamer is what's called your consciousness, the thing that makes you become aware. That creates the whole field. So what the streamer does, it beams you down and splits off and makes you a human being and makes me Mark and gives me a personality to play the game. But the streamer is still outside of me. That's called the superconscious or your higher self. So you see that? So now back to the question someone asked me. What profoundly changed my life was when I started to say, why is this universe rigged in my favor? So remember now, since I am being streamed here and I have a two-way communication to the field, and remember what the field is an illusion, right? So what's an illusion? Illusion is something you can create that doesn't make sense or it's not factual, it doesn't appear what it is. So since I'm being streamed, and if I say to myself, why is the universe rigged in my favor, or why are things always working out for me, then I will actually create a scene that looks just as real as I'm talking to you right now. It'll just be my life. So my life will now start to stream according to what I put into the field. The field reciprocates information. The field is a two-way communication thing. It's not a one-way thing. And the field is a self-correcting code. It means that anything I put out to the field must send back to me, making sure it works out in harmony with what my thoughts and my intentions are. The only way that I could have done this was to accept and understand the physics of this. So every day if I started thinking in the back of my head, why are things always working in my favor? Why is the universe rigged for me? Then the unconscious mind, which is the supplier of information from the field and makes my world, because I'm sure many of you know that it is your subconscious mind that really governs the majority of your life. 97 to 98% of our lives are controlled by our unconscious mind, right? So now my unconscious mind will take the information from the field and will match the life that I expect. So it literally means, in layman's terms, it means that anything that's happening into my life will now change from me being a victim to an empowering thing. So I take myself out of a victim mentality. It means that, so let's say something negative happens, that negative thing now won't happen to me, it will be happening for me. So it means that the field will shift the negative and turn it into a positive down the line, instantly, whenever it chooses. So literally anything that happens in my life, it'll always turn out to be something inspiring, motivating, helpful, teaching, something of that sort. So I'll always virtually be guaranteed to have a very fun, productive, consistent life that moves in my direction. Okay, that's how it works with the world of the physics and world of manifestation. So if you understand this now, then you can go ahead and start to shape and shift your life. Now remember guys, for you to understand, you got to understand how physics work, right? Quantum mechanics, right? So I just gave you a brief description of quantum mechanics, and I encourage all of you to dive more into quantum mechanics, and see how fascinating, and see how life changing, and see how it makes you open up your mind to different awareness and different thinking, and it just expands your knowledge and understanding. Because what it does, it shows you something very profound. It actually shows you that what you think you are, you're not. Where you think you're living, you don't. Who you think you are, you're not. It changes your whole paradigm of the world around you. So if you're ready for that, you'll be a spiritual awakening. If you're not ready for that, then don't take that dive. If you're ready, jump in. Get ready. Because it's going to change your whole persona and your entire life core. Yes, I'll sum it up for you guys. I'll make it so easy for you. And you can go look at the physics. But here's a ABCs of it in a kid. So if I'm teaching a kindergarten kid, here it is, so the kids could understand. If you have your kid next to you, your son, your daughter next to you, and I'm going to explain it to you right now, so they'll understand and you'll understand. So here's what it says in a nutshell. Okay, the summary of all of it. It says this. It says you are sitting in a living room, and you have a controller in your hands, and you have your computer, and you're playing the video game. Inside of the video game is a copy of you. So you're playing a game and you're walking through the world, you're going through your job. Okay? The thing inside of the video game is you and I. The you that's sitting outside of the video game that's playing it is the real person, is the consciousness, is your higher self. So you see how that's what quantum physics says. So it's like an avatar. See how I'm making it simple for even your kid can understand it, right? Without going into like Heisenberg uncertainty principle, quantum loop gravity, quantum tunneling, string theory, all of that stuff, dimensional portals, travel, all that. So it makes it very simple for you. So when you're playing the video game, the real you and the character inside of the game have many options. So when you're walking in the game, as you move out, stuff renders out. As you move in, stuff renders in. Remember I told you, I said that when you leave your living room, you go into your bathroom, physics says your living room disappears, you come back out your bathroom, your living room reappears, just like in a video game. It's so fast that your eyes cannot detect the gap in the speeds of it. Okay? So that's what it is. What someone says to explain to them what string theory is. String theory basically says that beyond the atom and beyond the smallest particles, the actual things that make up reality are certain information of strings. And the way these strings vibrate, they determine what becomes an atom, a proton, an electron. So the way the string vibrates, it turns into an electron. The way the string vibrates turns into an atom. An atom turns into a molecule, or to us. So that's what string theory says. String theory says the universe is made of resonance and frequency, or music. The universe is a classical music. Based on what notes you play is the galaxies, the things you get. String theory also says that because there's these different frequencies, there opens up different dimensions where there exist different universes, and different you and I. So someone says you are nothing. Well, what is your definition of nothing? Nothing is still something, or otherwise it would be nothing. But I understand what you're saying. Yeah, in basic terms it says you are nothing, because from nothing creates something or everything. So you're actually nothing. Correct. That's what it says. So I mean, when you say this and I talk this, there's a lot of individuals that they get stuck. Some people may get offended. Some people may reject it. Some people may be fascinated to some people. But with all that being said, it's still the truth, right? So whether you believe it, whether you accept it, it doesn't matter what you do or what you do. It is what it is. So once you can grasp that concept, and then you put into your mind that the universe is rigged in your favor, then the field will resonate back to you to show you a reality where everything is rigged in your favor. And that's what people see as magic. You know, when people say, oh my God, I can't believe, you know, I went into there and my credit score was like a 540, and I went to the car dealer, and when they checked my credit score, it was a 800 or 700. What happened there? Oh, that's a miracle. I did that. That's not miracle. It's physics. It's consciousness interacting with the field. It's changing in front of your eyes. So that's how magic and people develop magic, because they see these things happen. They think it's a supernatural. There's nothing supernatural. It's just physics. It's science. It's just the way it is. It's supernatural to you and I because our senses and our brain can't see most of the field. Remember guys, we only can see what? If you follow me and you know this stuff, what percent of reality are you experiencing right now? When you go out, I taught you this before, you should know this now. When you go outside, give me a percent, and you look up into the sky, what percent of, so listen, the planets, the stars, the sun, the moon, you and I, the earth, what percent of reality you think you're seeing? Good. Correct. You and I are only seeing about 1 to 2%. So what does it mean? Where is 97% of the world? Where is 97% of reality? Where is it? We only see 2%. Where is it at? First of all, let me ask you this question. Why we only see 2% of reality? Why would 97% be hidden from us? Is the universe playing unfair? Why is the universe teasing me? Why is the universe only giving me 2% and hiding 97% of real life, of real reality from me? What's going on? Someone says, the first I hear this. Can anyone explain? It comes down to your brain. Your brain wasn't developed to see 98, 100% of reality. It's just too small with information. Remember guys, everything is infinite. So where is the other 97%? Well, here's the answer. The other 97% of reality is actually around you and I right now. The problem is we don't have the senses equipped to see it, to interact with it. That's why we only see 2%. So it means that, remember I told you, I said all the infinite worlds, all the infinite versions, everything that you can see and think and unimaginable is happening right now in front of you. So as technically right now, as I'm speaking to you right now, infinity is going on around you. There are people walking through you right now that you will never be able to see, feel, touch. They are existing and walking through you. There's you right now, next to you right now, in the beach, in a house, in the mountains. There are mountains in you. There are other worlds in you. There are other beings in you. Everything is around you. There's different light. There's things you can't imagine that's happening right now in this space and time. Right now, there's a world where the dinosaurs are walking around through you right now. There is a world where you, same exact version of you, just a different clothes, is sitting in the living room right now. You may be in the street. Everything is around you. Remember what I told you? I said this is going to shock you because That's not what I say. This is what quantum mechanics says, and this is what these physicists won a Nobel Prize for. So I told you before, I gave you warning. I gave you the warning. I said, look, this is not going to make sense. But I also gave you the disclaimer. I said that anyone that tells you they understand quantum physics is a liar. No one can understand quantum physics. The best physicists, they'll go tell you, hey, do you have a complete comprehension, understand of quantum mechanics? No. Hey, do you have a complete comprehension, understand? Yes. Lie. They can't. Because every day there's different things. You can't understand it. The minute you think you get it, it flips on you. So I'm just showing you like what reality really is. I'm showing you something that you don't see every day, you don't learn about. And it's happening right now in front of you. A matter of fact, they have instruments that they can test this and show you what I'm saying is true. They have indirect evidence. Right now, science has not come up with a complete instrument that can show you these hidden dimensional parallel infinite worlds, but they do have indirect evidence that they exist. Sometime down the line they may have an instrument to detect it, and the reason they can't detect it right now is because they don't know what it is. Is it some form of exotic matter? Is it a different state of matter? Is it a different state of physics? They don't know. They just can observe the effects. Just like you can sit here and you watch a tree and you see the wind blowing the tree. You can't see the wind, but you can see the effects of the wind on the tree. You say, oh, that's okay, there's definitely wind. Well, same thing in the universe. So you have dark matter and dark energy, right? So there's something in the universe that is pulling everything apart. They don't know what it is. That's why they call it dark energy, dark matter. They can't detect it. They don't have instruments. They're working on it right now, but they see the effects. They see that, wait a minute, all the planets in the galaxies are moving away from us. If human beings are still here in another couple millions of years, there'll be nothing in the night sky for you to see. All the planets and the stars, they're moving away from us at stupendous speeds, beyond the speed of light. So, I'm just making your mind expanding. And now you want to go into the black holes. You know what black holes are? Did you know that in every galaxy there lives a supermassive black holes? Sagittarius something is the name of our black hole. So what they're saying now, inside a black hole, is that you go inside a black hole, you come out into another universe. I'm actually saying the universe is created through black holes. Black holes pop out and become white holes. So black holes are instrumental. Everything, there's a black hole around. Black hole has what's called an event horizon. When you go around the rim of a black hole, time stops, time freezes. If you ever want to travel to the future, take a spaceship and go to hang out by the event horizon of a black hole. Chill there. Nothing. So let's say you leave Earth and you go hang out at the black hole and you spend a week on the event horizon, just chilling on a week. Sagittarius A, that's right, that's the name of the black hole. You're chilling on the edge of the black hole, and you go back to Earth. So remember, you're on the black hole for a week. When you go back to Earth, the Earth will have aged 300 years. So you're 1 week on the black hole. You just time travel 300 years into the future. So that means when you go back to Earth, sorry man, all your generations are gone. Your family, everyone's dead and gone. Okay, now when you go inside of the black hole, alright, you get to the singularity. Singularity is a fancy name that physics and scientists use to tell you that we don't know what the hell's down there. We just know that the laws of physics break down when you get to the singularity. So when you get to the singularity, now it's just speculation. It's like, okay, maybe you go into another universe. Another world exists. So no one knows. Laws of physics break down. That's where the math and the science breaks down, in the singularity of a black hole. So, and we talk about, somebody asked about death. What is death? Well, death is just an aspect of the same coin of life. Well, if you understand something that, okay, energy, you can never create energy, right? You can't destroy energy, correct? So it means that we only transmute into different states. So death is a transmutation of a different state of consciousness or existence. Whether it becomes another life like you and I, or whether it becomes a different form of life, who knows? It's reincarnated, there's different dimensions, there's different worlds you can go into. Consciousness, the consciousness that you have can never dissipate. And to show you a point, let me give you a simple example. Have you ever thought of someone and they call you? You thought of someone you haven't talked to in a few months and they reach out and call you? That's the connection of your consciousness to their consciousness, affecting their subconscious to pick up the phone and call you. Have you ever dreamt of someone and it happened? Have you dreamt something and it happened? Well, again, it goes to, this is in physics now. It shows us that everything is connected, everything is here and now. So you're picking up a different frequency. So when it comes to your life now and doing anything, and someone asked me about praying. So when you pray, actually you're praying to yourself. I'm telling you the truth here. You're not praying to a God in the sky. You're actually praying to your consciousness, yourself, expression. And the reason your prayers get answered is because you believe and you expect it and you come down. So in other words, you are a God like gods. So you're praying actually to your consciousness. That's why the Bible says, once you believe it and you put it in prayer and you believe it's as it's done unto you, because you're the only one, because you don't have any resistance. When you don't have resistance, it frees up energy. Although you can't destroy energy, you can't create energy, you can actually slow it down, right? So you can postpone energy. That's called resistance. But eventually energy must move, it must continue. That's what we call allowance. So when someone gets their prayers answered, it's because they don't have any resistance. When someone manifests quickly or effortlessly, they don't have any resistance. When someone struggles to manifest, someone struggles to get what they want, they have resistance. So remember, it's an energy exchange. If you want me to make it simple so you can understand, so you are basically energy masking as a human being. Let me see, what we know is your electromagnetic energy, plasma energy, photon energy, and that's what we know. I don't know what the other ones are because no one discovered it. Maybe there may be another exotic form of energy. They just recently discovered something there at CERN that was called a ghost particle. They discovered a particle that's making other particles move. They don't know what it is yet. So there you go, that's something new. So I'll tell you, every time you think you figure physics out, something else pops in. They discovered the Higgs boson. That's what they call it, the God particle. The reason why they call it the God particle, because Higgs boson gives all the particles the mass they need to come into existence. Without a Higgs boson, nothing would exist. So hence they call it the God particle, because it makes everything exist. What it basically does is the particle that gives the atom the mass it needs to pop into reality. It's the particle that gives the proton, the electron, the mass it needs to pop into reality. If the Higgs boson was gone, everything would just fall apart. Right? So this is something to boggle your mind, to make you think, to make you become more aware, to see how you can do. So someone asked me here, well, what causes resistance? Well, what causes resistance is energy. So the biggest cause of resistance for human beings, because you're a human being, right? The biggest cause of resistance it's going to be your subconscious and your ego mind. So resistance comes in when you move away from your core being. So resistance will come in the form of the following: doubt, worry, procrastination, fear. Doubt, worry, procrastination, fear. Everything comes from one of those. That's what we call resistance. Is it possible to manifest without doing the physical work? Well, what's your definition of physical work? So if you mean, is it possible to manifest by using your mind? Yes. Is it possible to manifest by just chilling and doing nothing? No. Manifestation must always come in the following: imagination, and then followed up by some sort of action, which we call inspired action. Keep in mind that you are continuously manifesting as well. You can never stop manifesting. It's just what you're manifesting. You look. Okay, let me do it like this. What's that? I'll make it easy for you to understand. There's this movie. What is it? The Marvel movie, which is Wolverine, and okay, the guy that has the glasses. You got to wear the glasses because every time he takes off his glasses, he spits out tons of energy. What's that character's name? If you watch the X-Men, he's the one that wears the glasses. And you got to put the glasses on. When he takes his glasses off, he just spews out like energy, like. Who's that guy? It's not Magneto. Is it Cyclops? Cyclops. Okay, yeah. So check this out. So the reason why Cyclops have glasses, right? Because he can't control the energy. That's the only way to control. So the minute he takes his glasses off, he blows up everything. So listen, this is what it is. So imagine you're a Cyclops, but you don't have glasses. Your energy is continuously streaming. So wherever you put your energy, that's what you're going to create. That's why I say you're continuously manifesting. You don't have glasses. Unlike Cyclops, you can't put glasses on. You're just forever and ever streaming energy. So if you look over here, that's what you're going to get. If you put your energy over there, that's what you're going to get. Put your energy over there, that's what you're going to get. That's what manifesting is about. It's about the attention you put through your imagination. So you can never stop manifesting. It's about what you manifest. So when someone says, I don't manifest, I can't, no, you are manifesting, but you're just not manifesting what you want, but you're still manifesting. So if you want to flip it around, then if you want to adjust the energy beam, because you can't turn off the energy beam now, you can't put the glasses on, that's like Cyclops. It's still going to flow, but you can adjust the frequency of it. You adjust the frequency of it by your imagination, by what you're thinking, by your focus. So in other words, if you're focusing on the universe is rigged in your favor, if you're focused on positive thinking, positive stuff, if you're focused on the glass is always half full, then the energy that's coming out of you is going to make a world that you're going to live in with real people, just like regular people. It won't look like a change to you, and then everybody will start just be regular person. But you'll notice something. You'll start to notice weird stuff happening. You start to notice like people start to treat you differently. You start to notice you're getting more money or something. You just start to notice these things. But what you're actually doing is because you adjusted your frequency through your mindset and your imagination, you change what's called the field. That's what they call magic. So magic is really altering the field so that the frequencies and the energy, they pick up your signature and they come in and they collapse and they form an image like a puzzle. Remember, we live in what? Electromagnetic universe. So the two things that really powers this universe, electricity and magnetism. Hence, electromagnetism. Light is a byproduct of that we call a photon. So think about that, right? So we're constantly streaming and we're constantly attracting. What is a magnet? A magnet pulls in. Also, magnets can repel. You know that, right? If you take two magnets of the opposing force and you put them together, they repel each other. That's the resistance you're feeling. So you try to push two magnets, you can't touch them. So just some stuff for you to understand. And yes, you're actually immortal because your consciousness doesn't die. Your body dies, of course this dies, but like who you are, the download of who you are gets transferred back into the field, goes back into the field. And then whatever the field decides to do with it, your higher self does with it, then it comes back again. You may come back as another being. You may choose to come back. Whatever you decide to do, you're going to do. But the fact is you'll always be existing. You can never not exist. All right? So keep that in mind. And I'll see you guys again next time.